You are tuned in to Kids
In the Pit.
It's Gabe from the Kids in the Pit podcast. Today I'm being joined by Chris Ruffini from the Long Island hardcore band Overthrow. Thanks so much for joining me.
Thanks, Kay. Appreciate you coming on here, especially after this weekend was the Warped Tour weekend, and I was watching on Prime Video, and you get up there, they're getting in there interviewing you, which is pretty cool. That must have been awesome.
Yeah, it was awesome. I got free sneakers too.
Look at those.
Yep. I tried lacing them before this. I didn't. I did it wrong. It's
They
not
look fine to me.
even
It looks
close.
good.
It's definitely not even. You see that?
Oh, that part, yes, I do.
Um, but yeah, we went there because my mom was selling merch for Comeback Kid, and we got free sneakers. So that was awesome.
It's great, and it looked like the weather held up, right?
Um, I don't know. So when we first got there, it was raining. Um, and then for like 6 hours, it stopped. Then I think it was like 7 p.m. It was like right when Silverstein started playing. You know them, right?
Yeah.
It just started pouring, so that kind of sucked. And then we had to pack up all our stuff in the rain, and like our shoes were disgusting and stuff. Not we didn't put on the new ones. It was like our shoes we currently had on, but it was nasty. Also, I feel bad for you because you had Crocs with your bare feet in them. So
It was
like,
gross.
I think you had
That's
like vomit on
never
the side
easy.
of your shoe.
Probably.
There was it was nasty. But yeah, I had all access thanks to Comeback Kid, so I was able to watch bands on the stage.
That's awesome.
I believe the only one that I wasn't allowed to watch was Avril Lavigne because like she's super famous and only certain people are allowed to go out there and watch. But
Mhm.
that doesn't matter too much. I just wanted to see it from the stage. I
Yeah,
don't
the
know her.
Warped
Um,
Tour's great. I remember going back to the first one back in '95, where for from Long Island, and they when they hit the Nassau Coliseum, the parking lot, and it was like sick of it all, and L7 I think played. It was great, So it's cool that they brought it back, and they have a bunch of different dates across the country coming up.
totally. Um, I bet seeing Sick of It All was awesome back then. I mean, it
Yeah,
still is awesome, but like it would. I mean, I feel like it would have been really cool to see them back then. And
yeah,
I mean, they probably got some punk kids at Warped Tour into hardcore.
yeah. I saw them a few times at Warped Tour. I saw them in '95. I'm gonna say it was either '97 or '99. Maybe I saw them. I forgot which one it was when it was at Randall's Island. And they're always for me were the pinnacle New York hardcore band. Like if I put certain bands on my Mount Rushmore of hardcore, Sick of It All is always on there. They have
Yeah.
some great albums. It's awesome that Lou's, he's cancer free, and hopefully they'll be back running strong like they always do.
Yep. Sick of It All was my
Mhm.
first hardcore show. You said Randall's Island, so Warped Tour.
Yeah, yes, yeah. When it used to come around New York, they used to go to Randall's Island, which they would have like big festivals there all the time. So they would spread the stages out all over the place, and it was just like people in the pit, and when they were moshing and dancing and stuff, the dust would just come up, and just everybody's face would be full of dust and all that kind of stuff from everybody moving around and stuff. But it was just this big field, and it was a cool spot to go see shows
Yep.
or the
I
Warped
played
Tour.
there. I played at Randall's Island like this month actually. But yeah, it was recent.
8th.
The 8th.
Oh,
At
that
a
festival. That's right, with
Punk Island.
Deadshot from Long Island. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
Headshot.
I did.
mhm.
Oh yeah.
They're not much older than you.
Yeah.
They were cool.
Mhm.
They're a great band. They're great guys. Yeah, I was fortunate enough. They asked me to sing on their EP. Their EP they just put out, Siren. I sang on the song with them. They just played. I saw them a week ago with Drain at AMH. They killed it. They're a great band.
Yeah. Wait, is
Hmm.
that the band that did Minor Threat and Subliminal? Or is
That was earlier. No, they played after you.
okay?
Remember, the
Mhm.
dad gave you a hoodie.
Trying to-
Suicidal Fancy City.
Yeah, yeah. I remember.
The dad like brought all these clothes to give away.
You
Because
think it
his
was
kid
like
had like outgrown them. Because he's a
Yeah.
little older than you. He was like
Mhm.
16 maybe.
yeah?
So he gave you a suicidal hoodie, which is awesome.
That was awesome. Yeah.
Oh,
Shout out.
cool.
Shout out singer. I don't know his name. Singer Deadshot's dad for giving me a suicidal hoodie.
Yeah, they're great guys also. They live right up the road from me. I live in North Shore, Long Island, and they live like 10 minutes away from me. So they're actually really close, and it's just a matter of like proximity in terms of how close they are. It's awesome. So they're good guys. Their parents are awesome too. Their parents are my age, so they're good guys. I was hanging out with them a little bit last week when they played AMH.
Yeah, we'd like to play a show with them sometime.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have a cat and she's just being crazy right now. Like she's knocking stuff off while like the podcast while we're just doing this and like
I took care of it.
yeah. I keep hearing just like crashing and stuff and I'm like, what is even happening? She's crazy. So what do you do in Overthrow?
So I'm the lead singer, I guess, if you want to call it that. Yeah, and we started back in '95. I was talking about the Warp Tour '95. That's right around when we started. And we played a lot in the late '90s, obviously in New York, Long Island, around the Northeast. And we put a split CD out with Voice of Reason on Stillborn Records, which was Jamie from Hatebreed's label. And then we put our full length out in '99 on Triple Crown Records called React. Then we played our last show around like 2001, and then played some reunion shows here and there. And now we're back now again. We're I guess semi-active now, and we're just putting the finishing touches on the new album that we have coming out probably in the fall.
Nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love Hatebreed. I've seen them a bunch of times. I think yeah, the first time was this is Hardcore 2022. I saw them.
You're 10.
Oh, in Philly?
Yeah, I believe I was
Yeah.
10.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I remember on the way home in the car, you said, "When can we see Hatebreed again?"
Yeah.
It's from all the bands I played. That's all you said.
Yeah.
Yeah, they always had an amazing live show. Always. Still do.
Mhm. I what was it? Oh yeah, I believe you had this what's the singer? The singer of Extinction AD sing on one of your songs?
Yeah, so I sent you a bunch of them. Unfortunately, only three went through. That was seems like the one. Yeah. So we have Rick from Extinction AD. This is Hell. He fortunately enough did a guest spot on What Lies Ahead, one of our new songs that we have on the new album. And when the song was written and I'm singing over it. I'm listening to it when we were getting back, the recordings from the studio. I'm like, he would sound great on this. I'm like, he really would. I happened to be listening to the new album came out. That came out. I was listening to "Desperate Grasp" from Extinction AD. It's a song on the new album that I love, and I was listening to him, and I'm like, he would sound really good on the second verse here. So I text him, and he was down to do it immediately. And what the nice thing was with him was he didn't have to go into the studio and do it. He actually has his own recording studio in his house and vocals. So I sent him the song. He recorded it. I sent it to East Coast Recordings, who's recording our record, and they put it together. And Rick did a really nice job. It was really cool having him on. Known him a long time. He's someone that we've known a while. He had bands coming up in Long Island called Subterfuge. He was in Soldiers, the lead singer, which was some of the members of Incendiary were in that band. And then he had This Is Hell, which was great. And now he's running strong with Extinction AD. And actually, I think every one of those bands, they've never really broken up. He's still just running with them. So yeah, we have Rick on that. We're psyched to have it on. We're psyched to get that out because he did a really good job. He killed it on that song.
Yeah, definitely. My band World of Chaos, we played with Extinction AD a couple months ago.
Oh, cool.
Yep. It was cool to see him.
Mhm.
Also I record my vocals at my house like Rick apparently does.
Oh, you do?
Yep,
It's got to be so much easier. I wish I could do that and could
I
have
have
finished
a
it.
I have a little studio in my bedroom. It's just like laptop, then an audio interface, which you just plug straight into, and then um, just gotta have like a decent microphone. I have a
Mhm.
SM58 Shure
Okay.
mic, and then for like guitar and bass and stuff, I also record that in my bedroom. Um, Same thing. I just plug my guitar straight into the thing, and then I have like a digital amp on there, which is just a guitar amp, but it's digital. It was free actually. I believe it's called the Roots amp or something like that, but it sounds great. Um, there's a bunch of different like tone settings on it. And then for bass, I just do direct into the thing. No amp.
Okay. That's great. So when you guys are, your band's recording, obviously you use that, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Everything but drums for the new EP we did at my house.
Okay. That's great. Save money, time, all that stuff. You can't beat
Mhm.
that.
I think like the guitars and basses for one of the songs we did at our guitarist's dad's house, but other than that, we did the rest of mine.
Cool.
So what was the first punk metal or hardcore show you went to, and how old were you?
So the first, I'll start with, I guess I'll start with metal. So the first metal show I went to, like a real show, was at Jones Beach. I saw Metallica and Suicidal Tendencies. That's when Metallica was on. They were on a tour after a little after the Black Album came out, at Jones Beach. And I'm a big Metallica got me into metal, so like that was a big time show for me to go to. I remember a little bit before that, first like local show I went to, there was this place called Hammerheads on Long Island. I think it was in Mineola. I saw this band from where I grew up in Plainview called Final Chapter. They were, I guess, a death metal-ish kind of band. So that was the first show I went to. But my first hardcore show, and it happened kind of on accident, really. So there was a place called the Roxy Music Hall on Long Island. That's gone now. It's now actually an Asian restaurant, an Asian fusion
Huh.
restaurant in Huntington. But this was a place that we and Overthrow played there a bunch of times. Like Overthrow's first show there was with Napalm Death and Sheer Terror. That was our first show.
Oh, that's a
Like a
great first
crazy,
show.
crazy first show. We had no business being on it, but it was like a crazy first show. But my first hardcore show was at the Roxy, and I started listening the hardcore. I was listening to it in like '94. I think I was in about 10th grade, and I was listening to VOD. I started with like adjacent hardcore, like Life of Agony or Metallic or Biohazard, but I was going to see Propane, and Propane was playing, and they were on tour with another band, and I forgot who. It was another, and something happened where just Propane ended up playing, and I don't know if the other bands came off, and then they ended up putting on 25 to Life, Crown of Thorns, and VOD. And I'm 19, it's 1994. I'm probably a couple of years older than you at that point. And I'm like, I wasn't, I'm not as, I'm tall, but I wasn't as big compared to these people there. And I liked the music. But then when I went to that show and I just saw, and I went for Propane, but I left like loving Crown of Thorns, I remember. And I already liked VOD and I was completely blown away by them. So just being there and then seeing how these bands are hanging out in this place and selling merch and just hanging with everyone. Because you have to remember at the time when I was going, I was used to that Metallica show I went to at Jones Beach where band's out there, I'm back here. But like these guys are just walking around, hanging out, talking to people. So I really, really loved that. And then from there, from '94 on, after that show, I just kept going and going to shows. And what I found cool was that what about it was I was seeing shows in VFW halls or bowling alleys and just any random place that you could see a show. The PWAC was a big place at the time when growing up in Long Island. And anybody listening to this from Long Island knows the PWAC. So it just got contagious. I loved it. I loved the scene, the culture, just meeting people. And then it just kind of snowballed from there. And then I would go into the city. The city was thriving at that point in New York City. So I would constantly be doing that.
Nice. Is Overthrow
Mhm.
still playing shows?
Yeah, we're still playing. I mean, like being middle aged and doing this, it's not as easy as it used to be. But we're gonna we had some stuff lined up this summer, but we're really gonna kind of wait where the goal for us moving forward is. We're gonna probably put a single out, a song out in August, another one out a few weeks later, and then the full album out in October. So after that, then we're gonna start playing out Connecticut, Philly. We're gonna be moving around. I'd even get out to Detroit. I'd like to do that, and then obviously Long Island and probably Brooklyn, the city, and just wherever it is. Wherever there's opportunity, we're gonna jump at it.
Nice. My band's
Mhm.
playing Detroit later this month. We're doing a little 3-day thing. Erie,
Cool.
PA, Detroit, then Columbus, Ohio.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, it's gonna be great.
Mhm.
If you guys make it down to Philly or Baltimore, we'll come out for sure.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, that's the goal. Like we had some stuff planned in last fall and then but you know what? It's like let's just wait till this gets out, which has been taking forever. That's why when you were talking about you have a recording studio in your house, I was like jealous because it just took a lot of time to get it done, but we're almost there. So once it's done, we're going to be hitting all those places for sure.
Yeah. I mean, we still have to wait on like mastering and mixing. I can't do that, but
Yeah.
it is definitely nice having a record like a basic recording studio.
Yep.
So where's your favorite place you've ever toured?
We would do a lot of like back then. So we would do a lot of weekends. We would just hit weekends where we weren't touring with a band per se, but sometimes we'd grab a band, we'd do a weekend and stuff like that. But we did some cool stuff. Like when React first came out, we did a weekend with Ignite. They came up, and we did Connecticut, the city. We did Rhode Island, I believe, Pennsylvania. We did like a wherever that was. It's a little fuzzy at that time. That was fun because we were with them and they were still love Ignite, and they came to do a quick little New York thing, and we were able to do that. But I have to say, like probably Long Island, New York, and the city was always great for us, but Connecticut was really good. I mentioned we did the split CD on Stillborn Records. On Jamie from Hatebreed's label Stillborn Records, we did it with Voice of Reason, and Voice of Reason was from Connecticut, and they were well known. They were established then. So we did the split CD with them, 4 songs. So we would go up there to play, and before we even got up there, people knew us already, from the album, whether if they liked it or not, but they knew us already. So when React dropped in 1999, we had a cool little pocket of people that liked us, and it kind of built a little. So Connecticut was always a fun place for us.
Nice.
Mhm.
So what's your favorite food from another country?
So I'm Italian. I'm going to stick with that. So I'm going again this summer for a couple of weeks. So I know this is like such a generic answer, but the reality is the pizza in Italy is that good. It's incredible, and the dinner is great too. They have. I'm Italian, but I don't know how to speak it. So you look at the menu, and my wife does. So she sometimes I'm not really sure what's on the menu, but typically anything you order when you're in Italy, because it's all homemade, is absolutely delicious. So I would have to say go in Italy, the pizza, because it's excellent, and whatever pasta dish that they put together is just incredible.
Awesome.
Mhm.
I'm also Italian, and
Mhm.
yeah, I like Italian food.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Can't beat it.
I'd like to go to Italy. My parents have gone to Italy though. That's where you guys got. That's where Dad proposed, right?
No, that's awesome.
Yep. See, I heard you have a podcast too.
Yes, and I'm definitely going to get you on it at some point to talk your podcast and your band. We'll get that situated soon. So yeah, it's called. We were talking about the song "What Lies Ahead" that Rick is on from Extinction AD, but the podcast is called "What Lies Ahead," and that's actually a title um, that I've had laying around since honestly 2000, like for a song title and stuff. And I liked. So the podcast I wanted to start like about a year and a half ago, and I just never got it going. So finally mid-January, I'm talking about it with my wife, and she's like, just do it already. So very simple, bare bones. Like you have a cool intro, Gabe. Like you do cool stuff, like you put video over it and stuff. Mine is just so basic because I'm not that great with technology. So I legitimately tape it on a laptop. I upload it to Buzzsprout, and it gets to all social media platforms. But it's awesome. I enjoy doing it. I get the opportunity to reconnect with a lot of old friends, meet new people with it. And I always liked the idea of even going back to when I was younger. I'm going to go back to Metallica or even Slayer, Megadeth, like when I was into like thrash metal, but even updated with hardcore bands. I love how bands structure their set list. I love how bands, I'm intrigued how they write music. I'm intrigued how they put their album track list. So that's the kind of stuff I like talking about when I have the bands on. And then on the other hand, I have record labels and I have promoters on because I like getting in the weeds with them about how they go about promoting and booking shows, how record labels go about their release schedule, especially now. Like your mom knows. Like back then, um, there was no Spotify, right? So it's like if like I wasn't able to email you some of the new songs that I had. I had to like mail it to you. You probably wouldn't have ended up getting it for a week or two. So it's like record labels now in the digital world, how they how they go about their label, and even though vinyl's big and people still like getting CDs, but it's just a different world right now in terms of releasing music. So for me, it's just having that conversation with all these different people about this stuff, about music, about hardcore, and hearing what they have to say about it.
Yep. I
Mhm.
mean, to be fair, my mom does all the editing and stuff and adds all that, so I don't really do it. Get your
Do a
mom to
good
help.
job.
Yeah, get your
Do a
mom to
great
help.
job with it. Mhm.
But it doesn't really matter if there's an intro or anything. It can be cool. But yeah, we'd love to be on it, either me or the whole band.
Mhm.
Wait,
Yeah,
why do
we'll
you
set
have
that
your
up.
set
We're definitely
list?
gonna set that up for sure.
Because you said something
We're
about
gonna-
set lists.
Oh, this is a world
And
of
it
chaos.
was, and it was sitting here.
Oh, yeah, your set list.
So it's
It's just sitting right
so
here.
intro. This is a normal song. This is a normal song. We have a song called Stinky Steve.
Uh-huh.
And our bassist is named Weston, and he was just like ripping ass nonstop in the van. So on the car. So and his I think he used to have like a nickname when he was younger, Wolton. So we made it Stinky Wool. I think he wrote it.
It's funny.
Then there's Just Look Around, which is Sick of It All cover. Tax Evasion, IRS Booty Song. Poison Kitchen, Rise and Fall, Thrash Can. Those are all normal except for IRS Booty Song and Stinky Wolton.
That's awesome. So my question for you is, so like if you were on, what you were on, we're gonna go over this stuff. Why the song you picked that you end with? Why do you end with that one?
Because that's a good breakdown.
There you go. Right.
So what I like doing is I like ending with either that song, Thrash Can, because it has a breakdown, but I also like ending with one of our like original songs a lot of the time.
Mhm.
No, I mean like original,
Oh,
like
the
the
first
first,
three.
the first.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean sometimes we ended with a cover. Wait, we did.
I think Rise and Fall sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes we'll end with Rise and Fall. We like
Cool.
ending with something with a good breakdown.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool to hear. And that's what I like hearing from bands like about that kind of stuff. So we'll definitely get into more detail about that when I have you on mine.
Yep, that'd be great.
Mhm. Mhm.
So who are a few of your favorite guests you've had on your podcast?
I know this is going to be like such a PC answer I'm going to give you right now, but I seriously enjoyed. I have about my 24th, 25th episode after at the end of June. I'll have 25 episodes out, and I started this in January. Honestly, I love every conversation I have. I mean, I'm going to probably have a few of them that are just recent that I might talk about a little bit here, but I like all of them. I like having the conversation with them because they all have different perspectives and different viewpoints of on their music, how they write music, the labels, the promoters. So I really have enjoyed all of it. And what's cool for me is because I love the music so much and I love hearing about it, but I learned a lot of it, like along the way. Look, you heard me say I'm a little there he is. It's been frustrating how long the recording for our new albums has been taking, but honestly, with the podcast, I got some great advice talking to a lot of bands about certain things. Like Sal from Sworn Enemy was on, who's a friend of mine, but he really got involved in terms of specifics about when to release, when not to release, when there's a good time, when to drop singles. Like, and actually, a lot of what he said stuck to me. Jay Reason from Static Era Records, who's another friend of mine, good friend of mine, but he was he was so good at explaining. I mean, he has a label, so he knows that kind of stuff. So, hearing Brendan from Incendiary talk about how they go about their writing style and how he writes over the songs. So it's like it's cool hearing from these people and musicians that you love and listen to and you like, and just having a conversation with them about it. So I would say like pretty much all of them. I've enjoyed having the conversations. For me, it's cool too because it's like I've noticed, and you probably can notice this too. You have people on. Very rarely have I had someone on. Very, very rarely. They've just in one band. They might be in two bands. They might have a label. They might have a podcast. They might have a band along with it. So it's kind of cool hearing the different perspectives from everybody.
Um, I just wanna make sure you know that I wasn't laughing at you. My cat was being crazy, so that's why I laughed.
Not at all. Not at all.
Uh, yeah, I get a bunch of good advice for my band too from guests. It's good.
Yeah,
So
like I saw the Jimmy interview you had, Jimmy from Murphy's Law. Like he's the guy, man. He's got so
yeah,
much experience. They
that one was
still
awesome.
have the same energy. So it's like if you interview you've had so many different bands on, different people. You pick up one thing per interview, and you take that with you with your band. Forget it.
Yep.
It's can't beat that.
And the singer of Kill Your Idols said they'll put us on a show, which would be amazing.
Andy grew up in the same town. We grew up. He also. I'm older, but he's a little older than me. Not anymore, but he grew up in the same town as me. And when Kill Your Idols first started, our first drummer was their second drummer. So the drummer that was in our band, Dimitri, he played on that Live at CBGB's demo that they put out. Yeah, Killer Idols or Gary, they're awesome guys.
That's awesome.
Hmm.
Wait, I was gonna say something.
So about Kill Your Idols
Oh no, it was that I believe I'm on 159.
episode.
Yeah, I don't know if that's correct. My mom just typed that and said, "Well, I don't, I don't know," but she said I'm probably on 159. I'm not sure though.
I think so.
Something.
That's awesome. That's great. And you sound like you
Happened
still
to-
want to keep going with it, right? And keep
Totally.
running with it. That's amazing.
Yep, and I've been doing it since I was 10. So
That's
one a week-
amazing.
one a week since I was 10.
Like over 3 years.
That's crazy.
That's amazing.
Yep. My first guest was Eddie Leeway. Rest in peace. That was a good.
Wow, what a great first guest.
Yeah. Wait, didn't both the first guests pass away from cancer?
Yeah, like guest 1 and guest 2 have both died.
Wow.
From,
Oh,
from
man.
cancer, right?
I texted guest 3 and I was like, watch your back.
Oh man. Oh God, yeah.
It's not funny.
But you've been doing
it's
it a
not
long
funny, but
time.
it's like
Yeah, it's weird though that
it's
the first
it's,
2.
Yeah. So no one
Neither one was old.
and
really.
no one else has.
No, just those 2. But I
So what are the
texted
chances?
Jeremy from Comeback Kid and I was
Because
like,
he was the third.
yeah, we were laughing about it. I mean, it's not funny, but
Wait, didn't someone else on Comeback Kid pass away from cancer?
no,
The bassist?
no. Did somebody have cancer? Nobody died.
I thought like a past bassist died.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe. Cancer sucks.
Yeah, cancer's dumb.
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So if you could live as one animal for a day and be safe from dying, what kind of animal would you choose?
This might I get, you know what, a falcon, I guess. Because and here's the reason why, I guess the falcon, because it moves fast, moves quick, and is always going forward. It doesn't look like typically falcons, I don't have a pet falcon in my house, right? But you're not gonna see one flying around the background here. But but they typically move forward and persevere. Like kind of like the song of What Lies Ahead. Like they keep moving forward. So I guess I would go with a falcon.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We have pet chickens. They can't fly though. They're I mean, they can they'll fly up over the fence and stuff, but other than that, they can't really fly.
Mhm.
I think I've seen videos that chickens can fly if they really need to, because I think I saw one crossing there was a huge there was a lake I don't know the size of our front yard. How long is that?
I don't know. Long.
A big lake, and it flew across it somehow. It didn't go up. It just stayed. It just stayed in one spot, but it went
Wow.
across a big lake. So I guess they can keep themselves up. I don't know. I think they're just
Fly.
not very aerodynamic.
Makes sense.
So do you have a favorite movie?
I like a lot of movies. I guess I'm gonna stick with comedy here. I love the first Ace Ventura, Ace Ventura Pet Detective with Jim Carrey, I think is an absolute classic. I like movies like Forgetting Sarah Marshall, I like Meet the Parents, but then I really love movies like Goodfellas and the Godfather movies are awesome, stuff like that. Like I like a lot of that. I was super into the Marvel movies even as well. Because I would take my kids to it and stuff like that. So I like a lot of different stuff, but I love like good comedies, which I feel like they don't make anymore. But some of the comedies I named for you right there are like some of my favorite movies.
Yeah, I haven't really watched many comedies. I don't think I've heard of. I might have heard of them, but I don't think I've seen any of the ones you said.
Yeah, those Forgetting Sarah Marshall that's the best, that movie. I think that movie's great. So, but yeah, they just don't make comedies like I feel like they used to anymore. Everyone's kind of nervous to make jokes about stuff now, so like they're not as good as they used to be, in my opinion. Hopefully that'll
Yes,
turn
yeah.
around.
Yeah,
Cancel.
yeah. I don't
Mhm.
really watch. Yeah, I'm more into horror. I don't really watch comedies. I love.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love horror.
Yeah, what horror movies do you like?
I really like the new Evil Dead. I like the old Evil Dead too. I mean, well, there's Evil Dead 2 and Evil Dead 1. I like all of the Evil Deads. Are there only 3? The new one and then 1 and 2.
There's Army of Darkness.
Did we watch that?
I don't know if you did. Maybe we should.
if I've watched that, I definitely liked it. I don't know. I like 1, 2, and Rise, but I might have seen um Army Darkness. I'm not sure. And then uh Child's Play. That's a really good
Oh,
movie. I saw that recently. I saw the old It like a year ago. That was good. I like a lot of horror.
cool. Yeah, I grew up with the Friday the 13th and the Nightmare on Elm Street and Halloween's like those. You
Yeah,
know, I mean, they got after like, the fifth one, they got a little ridiculous, but the
yeah,
originals of those are just so good.
yeah. We've seen the Texas Chainsaw Massacre for the 50th
Yeah.
anniversary. So at midnight they did. Wait, so technically was it midnight? Since it was midnight, was it the morning of
Yeah.
when it came out? Okay. So yeah, it was at like our local theater called the Everett Theater. It's kind of famous in our town. Have you heard of it?
Cool. No, no.
Okay, so you what's the movie? That it's
Dead Poet Society.
you know the movie Dead Poet Society?
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
was
it's a
shot
good
there,
movie. Oh,
that
wow.
town,
Okay.
yeah. It's cool, but they had a 50th anniversary showing at that theater. But yeah, they do a bunch of plays there, and I guess sometimes they'll do movie showings and stuff. Um, yeah,
I
my
don't know what show we
Oh,
went to.
it was 4 Year Strong. My mom and I went to see 4 Year Strong in New York, and then to the movie. So we had to
that's
go
cool.
from Philly back.
Philly. He said New York.
Did I?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm thinking of the Brooklyn Bowl
Okay.
because it was at the Brooklyn Bowl, and it's not New York. Um, yes, we saw that there. That was really fun. We were talking about horror movies, right? Oh yeah. So, Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street. I believe it was Nightmare on Elm Street. I think I was like 9, and my dad comes home from work while we're watching it, and the room was like dark and stuff. He comes in and scares me with like a mask on, and I never watched horror after that for like 3 years. Now I love horror though.
Yeah, cool.
Yep. So if you could tell your 13-year-old self anything at all, what would you tell him?
So it's cool. So I have two sons. I have a 15-year-old and a soon to be 11-year-old. So I'm telling them this stuff kind of all the time. And I love this question too, because I ask this kind of in a way on mine. I actually ask a lot of the guests, tell me, what advice would you give yourself if you go back as a teenager? Honestly, what I would tell myself and what I actually tell my kids is slow down. Sometimes when I was younger, I would I wouldn't enjoy the moment of where I was at. And I would be in the moment. If I was doing something that's fun, I'd be too busy thinking about what's next, what's next, where am I going? Perfect example is like if even if it's going to shows, like I was at shows, I was having fun, but I was worried about the flyers and what's next and what was coming up. When I was in my band, I wasn't enjoying the moment when we signed to Triple Crown, when we were playing shows and we were starting to get a little bit of people interested in it. It was always about what's next, what's next. So now I know just maybe a little bit more experienced lens is just being in the moment, enjoying what you're doing. Like right now, I'm enjoying this. This is great. I'm not worried about what I'm going to be doing later on with it. Obviously, you have to plan ahead with certain things. But I would tell somebody, I would go back and tell myself, just enjoy what you're doing. Enjoy what you're doing right now, and then keep going from there. With in terms of whatever you have coming up next.
Nice. Yeah, I tried to stay in the moment of like pay not look just not do what you said not to do, basically.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, it's like super cool. Like I said, like we're, you're on Prime Video getting they're interviewing you at the Warp Tour. That's awesome, man. Like that's so cool, and you're getting all these great bands coming on. Your band's playing a lot of places. You that set it right. You guys did that set it off cover. Yeah, right. Like that you guys killed it with, which was great. So just be in the moment, enjoy it, man, because you're so young. You got so much more to go and you're gonna keep building on it. It's gonna be a pretty cool ride for you.
Hopefully.
Mhm.
Do you have anything else to add before we wrap it up?
Yeah, one more thing. Well, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it, Gabe. And like I said, we're gonna do this again for your band and your podcast on mine. We'll get that set up over the summer. But yeah, just to check out. Well, twofold. I'll start with quickly my podcast. It's What Lies Ahead. You could follow it at What Lies Ahead _ podcast on Instagram. It's on Spotify. It's on every streaming platform. I usually, like you, I drop one a week. And so please check it out. I got a lot of great bands, promoters, and labels that come on. And with the band, we're excited. Like we can actually say, because I've been on other podcasts, and it's coming out here, it's coming out then in terms of our new album, Setting the Price. This thing is definitely coming out in the fall. We're excited. We are talking to a couple of labels right now, so we'll see where that goes. I thought I'd be able to maybe tell you today, but it's not really official. So, and it may not be. So we may be doing it ourselves. So we're not, we're not sure. So once that comes out, we're excited. We're looking to play. We're going to have fun. It's not going to be like 1999 for us playing like we did, but we're definitely going to be playing out and doing stuff in support of it. And we're excited. And it's just fun to do this again. Like I never thought I'd be doing this again right now. But I love music. It's cool getting back with the guys again. We're essentially we're the same band we were when we started. So it's just fun to get the music out. And I'm excited for people to hear the new music. And if people who don't know who we are, it's some of the heaviest stuff we ever wrote. And then there's some stuff that's some of the most melodic stuff we ever wrote for us, of course. So the reality at our core, we're a hardcore band. So we're excited. We're excited about the future.
Awesome.
Mhm.
Chris for joining me today, and thanks to all of you for watching and listening. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on Spotify and other streaming platforms. Until next week, bye.